We foster because there's such a need for fostering and just kind of a shortage for the dogs to go to.
It's probably the most rewarding experience I've ever had. Bringing a really scared dog into your home and watching them, rehabilitating them and getting them adopted out it's really, really rewarding.
We never intended to foster. We fostered to adopted our first dog, and then they added me to the Facebook page, and I saw all the dogs, and I think that's a little bit cruel. But then after that, we've always just had at least one foster dog in our house.
It's rewarding. It's awesome to see an animal come into rescue, transform, and find their forever family.
I started volunteering with Ruff Start a year ago and started with the transport, out-of-state transport, but then started fostering cats and kittens, and I've figured out that I can always keep that kitten stage in my house with fostering those little babies.
We foster because we love to save the lives of cats in need. There is a really huge demand for fostering cats especially, and we're both cat people, so it just kind of made sense.
We started fostering shortly after my dog had passed away. We were planning on fostering at some point, but she passed away unexpectedly. We wanted to wait till the end of summer, and I think it was 5-6 days later that we had our first foster in the house. We could not have a quiet home.
Cats and dogs for some people are like potato chips. You can't have just one.
I foster because we just love rescue animals so much. From the time I was little, I remember all of our animals when we were younger were rescues, and we just have always had rescues. And a few years ago, about 5 years ago, I got my very own rescue after I had moved out. And then we moved to Princeton, my husband and I did, and Ruff Start Rescue is just up the road, and I started working with them and learned what an awesome support system there was for fostering, and we just had to start doing it. And like Kayla said, once you start, you can't stop. It's really hard to stop. It's just so rewarding.
I work full-time, probably 10 hours a day, and I have kids sports every night. Both my kids are in high-level sports, and we just make it work between our whole family.
So I have 2 jobs. My husband has a full-time job as well. For a really long time, we didn't think that we would be able to foster because we didn't know if we could make it work in our schedule, but we found out that it's actually a lot easier to foster than we initially thought. We're actually able to foster on top of our 2 resident cats and 1 resident dog, up to like a whole litter of kittens, plus maybe a couple other cats at a time, depending on the time of year. So it's a lot easier than we thought, and we just pick animals that work really well in our home.
We work full-time, and then with my rescue job, I probably work another full-time job with that, but we still foster.
I currently am a stay-at-home mom. My husband works nights and every other weekend, so I'm home all day, and so it's like being a brand new mom again because I do bottle feed those newborn kittens.
I have a full-time job. I'm a single mom. I have 3 daughters, 2 dogs of our own, 2 cats of our own. We just make it work.
Honestly, she's 100% of why we're able to do it, because my husband and I both work full-time. I work from home fairly often, so that helps, but really it's just having our own support system to help, when we have long commutes, and to have someone there to support, and then the rescue is really helpful as well. So we just, once you get the hang of it, you can make it work.
So we both work full-time jobs, and we actually commute to those jobs, and so usually we try and pick up the fosters on the weekend to have a night or 2 to get them settled. And then after that, it is just kind of managing the chaos of trying to figure out them in the kennel, and if need be, we have family that can run over during the day too. So I get up about 3:30 in the morning, and when I get home kind of varies from my job. So then Brandon has the morning duties, which include
feeding and walking, meds.
And he also goes to work. He starts at 3 in the afternoon, so then I have the night shift.
We both work. We both have full-time jobs, and now we have a 5-week-old. And it is a little bit of a challenge, but it's really only the first couple of days to get that schedule kind of figured out, and once you have the schedule figured out, it's so much easier. We have a good schedule in our house, and the dogs really learn from other dogs so quickly.
I would say go for it. It's definitely worth the try. I never thought I could. And I've been doing it for a year now and wouldn't go back.
Take a chance. Open your heart, open your home. It makes a difference.
What are you waiting for? if anybody, I get this a lot, people say that they're really busy, but if anybody's busy, I am very, very busy, and there's just no excuses. They're easy, it's easy. Sometimes it's not always easy, but for the most part you make it work, and the end result is amazing.
I think that starting fostering can be really scary, and we totally understand that because we put it off for a while. But the support system at Ruff Start is unlike any other that I've ever experienced. There's a ton of people here with experience of their own, as well as support and compassion. So I think the hardest part is honestly getting started, and then after that,
I would just say to get some more information, talk to people that already foster. That's what kind of made me jump into it finally, was just talking to the foster managers more and more, and people who are in the thick of it, and finding out, you know, that it really is doable with any kind of schedule or situation.
It's not as hard as it seems, especially if you have more than one dog. The pack mentality kicks in. They all help train the dogs. My dogs aren't even friendly. They're not the dogs that you can take out in public and like they want to go on walks and be nice to other people, but they're fantastic with the foster dogs, and it really increased their socialization as well, so we get the benefit from that.
I would say ask your questions. There's lots of support, lots of people to turn to answer your questions. You can maybe start off as a temp foster for a weekend and see how that goes for you. But yeah, I'd say try it.
I can't even describe it. It's an amazing feeling to know that that dog or cat or critter may not have been here without us opening up our homes. There's been a number of animals that we've taken the day that they weren't supposed to make it out of the shelter anymore. And knowing that we gave them that bridge to their next their forever is the best feeling in the world, to watch them go into their new family.
We've had a couple of really challenging dogs, and it's really, really rewarding to see them go to the absolutely perfect home. And we actually still keep in touch with a lot of the adopters, so it's really fun to see them like thrive in their new homes. So I do see us continuing to foster in the future.
Do you guys ever foresee yourself stopping fostering?
No.
Nope.
We will be fosters forever.
Do you love fostering?